dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. More than 200 people met today at Operation Unite's first ever Rural Health Opioid Project Provider Summit. With several successful recovery stories, this summit was designed to provide hope to eastern Kentucky communities and information on how they can help with the opioid crisis. WYMT's Lauren McCourt talked with a few people who say they are ready to see a change in the fight against addiction.
Stuck in a dark place with a feeling of no way out.
I had tried to quit many times, and I would do it one more time.
The opioid crisis is a problem that millions of people have to face each year.
This is not one problem, it's a whole facet of problems.
Shannon Adams is one of those people.
Through the years, I became dependent and then addicted to those.
After years of seeing the epidemic continue, Kentucky finally said enough is enough.
I think most people have realized that trying to incarcerate or send people who are addicted to drugs to prison is not going to be a cure for them.
Now taking a different approach with people fighting drug problems in hopes to take away the stigma of substance abuse disorders.
People with a substance use disorder are not bad people trying to be good. They're sick people trying to get well.
And when you have someone share their message on overcoming addiction,
9 years, 10 years, 15 years ago, and where I am now, it's like two completely different people.
It gives a sense of hope to others.
Addicts are not lost causes, that there are success stories.
That people can defeat this disease. In Hazard, Lauren McCourt, WYMT Mountain News.
The keynote speaker at today's event was the executive director of the Kentucky Office of Drug Control Policy, Van Ingram.
We started the day out a little bit on the gloomy side, but sunshine has now returned as that cold front is still pushing through the mountains. We'll go ahead and take you to a few of those cameras. Interstate 64 in Moorhead, you can see those gloomy conditions starting out, but sunshine and those clouds clearing, especially by the afternoon hours. Looks like they remained a little bit on that drier side. A few clouds as we're looking into downtown Whitesburg. Mountain Heritage Festival going on right now as well, and it's gorgeous out there, 75 degrees. Those dew points near 70, so a little bit on the sticky side, but overall pretty comfortable this evening, and you guys will be dry as we head into the rest of the evening hours as well. Check out those temperatures across all of our area. Most of us into those lower 80s, some of us still into those 70s, especially where that cloud cover is, anywhere down from Harlan, Middlesboro, Williamsburg, and even over into Wise as well. You can see where that cloud cover is here on satellite and radar as well. That cold front is continuing to push through the mountains, but it looks like most of those rain chances are now out of our area. So scanning the skies now, maybe hang on to a very stray chance into southern Whitley County, but like I said, most of us on that drier side, and that'll continue, of course, as we head into the rest of those overnight hours. And you guys know we've been dry. The drought monitor was updated again today. You could see some of us have even been put in a severe drought. That includes Breathitt County, Perry County, Leslie counties in this, Knott County as well, Owsley County, Lee, a little bit of Wolf, and some of Magoffin County, and really almost all of us in eastern Kentucky, West Virginia, and even down into Tennessee and even Virginia as well is in that moderate drought. So are we going to get any relief in sight? I'll have that answer coming up in just a few short minutes.
All right, Paige, thank you. School safety advocates, including a school shooting survivor and the parent of a child killed in a school shooting, told a House panel that reactive measures are not enough to stop shootings. They are calling on Congress to act to prevent the next school massacre. CBS's Katherine Johnson has more from Capitol Hill.
We have failed you.
The gun debate shifted to school safety on Capitol Hill as advocates testified before a House panel. Lawmakers heard from 16-year-old Lauren Hogg, who survived the 2018 Parkland shooting.
Do you think we would act?
I hope one day you will. Unfortunately, if that takes until people my age are in your positions, we're going to be the legislators sitting in your seats. We're going to be the ones who have lived through this, who will have to make these changes.
Max Schachter's son Alex was one of 17 killed at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School.
We know that the next school mass murder is already out there. It is not a question of if, it is a question of when.
After the Parkland shooting, Congress passed measures to fund grant programs for school violence prevention training and infrastructure improvements. A White House commission suggested arming school personnel.
I, as an individual and as a representative of March for Our Lives, strongly oppose the notion that arming teachers will make our schools safer.
Schechter also suggested the current lockdown drills many schools undertake may not be effective.
Training in a lockdown, which is what many schools are doing, is just teaching the next school shooter exactly where to go.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said President Trump called earlier this week to say he and lawmakers have been making progress on gun safety and that pretty soon she'd hear what he's decided. Recently, the president said Democrats don't have time to work on gun safety because of the House impeachment inquiry. Katherine Johnson, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Any congressional action on gun safety measures is likely at least 2 weeks away. That's because they are about to go on a 2-week recess. The CDC is now reporting more than 800 confirmed and probable cases of lung injury associated with using e-cigarettes. At least 12 people have died. Nearly 3/4 of the cases are men, and most patients are 18 to 34 years old. Federal health officials still do not know the cause and have not found a product or substance linked to all cases. But most patients had a history of using vaping products containing THC, the psychoactive ingredient in marijuana. The search is on for the people responsible for vandalizing a Western Kentucky church. Here's a look at the damage at Mammoth Cave Baptist Church. As you can see, someone spray painted 3 6s and I Heart Satan on the side with orange paint. Park officials say repairs will likely cost between $10,000 and $15,000. Caught red-handed. 4 people face charges for allegedly stealing hemp from a Davis County farm. Investigators say security cameras caught James Kyle, Christopher Hoggard, Quayshawn Kennedy, and Raven Luckett cutting the crop. An alert on the farmer's phone linked to the cameras actually notified him of the theft. Police say they think the group arrested might have thought the hemp was actually marijuana. We are getting a new look at Kentucky's unemployment numbers. The State Center for Statistics reports that 75 counties saw an increase in unemployment in August. Harlan County now has the highest unemployment rate at 13%. Woodford County has the lowest at only 3%. The Kentucky Supreme Court ruled in favor of a newspaper seeking documents related to a sexual harassment complaint against a Republican lawmaker. The 2015 sexual harassment complaint involves 86th District State Representative Jim Stewart III. The Legislative Research Commission denied the records to the paper, arguing the LRC has sole authority over Open Records Act decisions in the legislative branch of government. But the High Court disagreed. Now the Franklin Circuit Court can hear the paper's appeal. It took just days. Now the Kentucky debate between Governor Matt Bevin and Attorney General Andy Beshear is sold out. The October 15th debate at UK will come as the race between the political rivals enters the home stretch. WKYT, our other sister Gray television stations, the League of Women Voters, and UK Student Government are all sponsors. Tickets at the 1,500-seat Singletary Center for the Arts were free. Now, WYMT will air this debate live on air and online at 7 p.m. that night. Police in Louisville identified the man believed to have kissed one of our sister station's reporters during a live report. Wave TV News reporter Sarah Rivest tweeted today police charged Eric Goodman with harassment with physical contact. Louisville police say Goodman was cited. Rivest says she felt uncomfortable and powerless when the unwanted encounter occurred last week in Louisville. She says Goodman wrote her an apology, which she plans to read on air. Poetry lovers gathered in the Pikeville City Park today, writing, reading, and appreciating the art of words. Pikeville Poetry hosted its 3rd Poetry in the Park event, encouraging the community to get more involved in reading and writing poetry. The event is part of a global 100,000 Poets for Change movement and has added a Read a Poem to a Child component. Michaela Curry, the Pikeville Poetry organizer, says the event is a fun way to introduce kids to the art of poetry.
Poetry helps us to really process emotion, and I think that that's something that kids can really benefit from. Kind of expose children to like a new way of learning about the world and also expressing themselves.
Pikeville Poetry has monthly meetings at the Pike County Extension Office. You can find out more about those on the group's Facebook page. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, flu season is about to get underway here in the United States. We'll tell you about the CDC's outlook.
If you're headed out tonight, whether that's a football game or any of those festivals, it's going to be pretty comfortable, a little bit chilly by the time we get to that last play as well. I'll have that full forecast coming up in just a few short minutes.
A Clay City woman was arrested and taken to jail not because of what she did, but because of who police thought she was.